Hi everyone, I'm Peixin, a Master's of International Studies and Master's of Business Administration student at the University of Pennsylvania. My talk is entitled, Hollywood is Threatened by the Rise of the Chinese Film Industry. Should Hollywood blame itself? So, China has a lot of restrictions on the type and quantity of movies it will import each year. As a result, Hollywood has partnered with China over the past many years as an attempt to get around these restrictions. One form of partnership is by co-producing with Chinese film production companies, movies like Transformers, Mission Impossible, and so on. I argue in my thesis that Hollywood's willing collaboration with Chinese companies actually helped drive the rise of the Chinese film industry. You'll see in the bar graphs on the left that the red bars, which represent Chinese proportion of box office sales in China, and at the bottom in the world, continues to grow, meaning China's movies are doing much better in China and in the world than they did before. I argue this is because Chinese film production companies learned from Hollywood and applied those to growing the domestic Chinese film industry. Another form of willing collaboration that Hollywood takes part in is censoring its movies to appeal to Chinese regulatory bodies, because every movie released in China is subject to a very strict censorship code. This is sometimes changing of elements in the case of Red Dawn, where the foreign invaders were changed in post-production through CGI from Chinese to North Korean. It's sometimes also through the addition of pro-Chinese elements, as in the case of Transformers, where there were Chinese scenes and Chinese actors and product placement placed into the movie. I argue in my thesis that this firstly risks alienating Chinese and American consumers who can be put off by this type of pro-Chinese propaganda. It also risks attracting US regulatory attention. For example, Ted Cruz recently proposed a bill that would limit Hollywood's ability to use funds to do this. Finally, I use Mulan 2020 versus Mulan 1998 as a case study that illustrates how both collaborating with Chinese film production companies and censoring movies can be to Hollywood's detriment. Anyone who has seen both movies knows how different they are. Not only did they cut Mushu, who didn't play well with Chinese audiences, they also removed a kiss scene that didn't play well with China, and it shifted the entire tone of the film from being a lighthearted comedy to more like a Chinese wuxia drama. China's reaction to Mulan was very lukewarm, both in terms of reviews and box office, and the same was true in the US. In conclusion, Hollywood may be threatened by the rise of the Chinese film industry, but Hollywood played a role in creating it.